Why should you stop using translation to learn English, especially if you are a pre-intermediate or an intermediate English speaker? That's what we're going to find out, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. Coming up. Hey student, I am Teacher Pricks, and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Now guys, right off the bat, the first thing you need to understand is you're not a beginner anymore. So the more translation you use at this moment, if you are a pre-intermediate or an intermediate English speaker, the more slowly you'll be going on your journey to fluency. And not just that, there may be specific problems that will happen to your English if you keep using a translation-based practice, okay? Now, the first reason why you should stop using translation regularly as the means of learning new information in English, because that's what I'm talking about, okay? You will be getting stuck in conversations much more often than you can imagine. What do I mean by that? If you're constantly using your native language to understand English, guess what is going to happen when you are in front of a person and you need to speak English? You're going to follow the same process because all your mechanisms, all your preparation was done in your language. Think about what you do if you watch a video and then you read everything you understood in your native language. Well, you're going to do that when you are having a conversation with someone. You won't be able to think independently and come up with answers more quickly because all your process involves your native language much more than English. That's why I said it'll slow you down. You will go on your journey to fluency, but much more slowly. But it doesn't stop there. As time goes by, you will begin to feel afraid of speaking. You will begin to feel bad about your ability to speak because you spend so much time building phrases in your mind that you feel like there's a problem with you. Oh, I can't speak English because I need to spend so much time thinking in my language. When in reality, the problem is not in yourself, like, oh, there's something wrong with me. No, the problem is in your process. You have so much connection with your language. Every time you sit down to study, you're making associations. You translate a phrase, you translate a new verb, you translate a new expression. You're always translating that. You're always making associations, writing explanations in your language. That, guess what? That's the process you're creating. That's the result you're going to get. That's why so many students feel stuck in conversations because they don't work on techniques to stay in the English language and avoid translation. I've talked about this before and I'm going to repeat it again because I feel it's very important. When I say eliminate translation, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. There will be moments when you're going to translate a few things, but occasional moments. And I even have other videos here on my channel where I teach you how to study English in English, how to study vocabulary, how to study new words, expressions, grammar, and remove the translation from your life. That's what I'm talking about. So reason number 1 is very serious. Do you get stuck in conversations? That's the question. That's the question of the day. Do you get stuck in conversations? Hashtag yes, hashtag no. Tell me in the comments, okay? Reason number 2. You won't be learning how to use the word in English. This is connected with tip number 1. In most cases, students get stuck because they don't know how to use a word. They are thinking and thinking and thinking in their native language, and the words that come, they don't necessarily know how to use. And this doesn't happen only to words, but grammar, structure. If we're constantly writing explanations in our language, that's what we get. So even though, let's think of a word, an individual word, you're learning the translation of that word. You're not learning how to use that word because you're feeding your brain information in your native language. And as a pre-intermediate speaker or an intermediate speaker, you will be getting in contact with more complex words, phrases, longer phrases, expressions, proverbs, interesting combination of words, collocations. So translation will eliminate the contextualization. So even though you are apparently learning new words, new expressions, you're not giving them context. And that is very complicated for pre-intermediate speakers. They check a bunch of words, but they don't know how to use them. And this will block your English speaking. So you have a lot of information, but you don't know how to use it. I guess that this is the biggest problem in our society nowadays, not just with English, but with everything in life. Look at the internet. There's a lot of information, but knowing how to use that information in your favor is the biggest challenge. In my opinion, is the biggest challenge. So watch out for that. With my students in my academy, they have information, they have a lot of information, but they have the directions, what to do, what not to do. They have explanations instead of translation. All the environment in my program is immersed in the English language. So are you immersed in the English language, or do you constantly go back and forth with the translation? So that is something for you to think about. Oh, but teacher, I don't know how to study the words in English. Do you have any recommendation? Yes, I will leave a video recommendation here. You can tap after this video, waited for it to be over. Then I give you a step-by-step of how to study a word in English, not in your native language, okay? Now, tip number 3 is very important. But before I tell you tip number 3, if possible, subscribe to my channel. Every week, I bring different kinds of English lessons. But here we go. Reason number 3, the reason why you should stop using translation is doing translation at this level will limit your ability to express yourself. And even though you may be thinking, oh, it's very similar, get stuck in conversations. But why do you get stuck in conversations? Because I'm translating. But what does translation do to your learning process? It limits you, because students don't understand this, but part of your vocabulary, part of your ability to talk will come from the contact you have with the English language. Explanations, examples, ideas. But if you always do that in your language, you get an explanation, you get it in your language. You watch an example, you get the translation. It's not always 100% in English. It is always translated some way. You are limiting your ability to express yourself. And here I go back to the environment. Are you immersed in the language? Because a lot of your grammar and comprehension will come from interacting with the grammar, not just doing grammar exercises. That's not how it works. What is your contact with English like? Are you watching more videos in your language, teaching English? Or even now as you're watching this lesson, are you taking notes in English or in your language? Are you translating things to your language, or are you writing down ideas in English? This is very important. Your vocabulary will come from this kind of experience. If that experience is in your language or is constantly translated, you will be very limited when you have to speak, because all of your work revolves around your native language, not English. So guys, at the end of the day, these 3 reasons are super connected. You get stuck, it limits your understanding of a new word because you don't understand context. Sometimes there are some cultural expressions we can't translate, we can understand. And because you never practice that, you limit your ability to express yourself. It's not that you just get stuck because you don't know what to say, but it's because you never practiced your ability to express yourself. Many times I ask some difficult questions to my students in my program, and I know they will have trouble answering because I am exercising their ability to express their opinion. And expressing opinion can be very difficult if you constantly learn by translation, if you never interact with the language 100%. And as the title of this video says, you're not a beginner, you're a pre-intermediate or intermediate speaker. So if you want to take your English to the next level, if you want to speak clearly, understand people in English, and speak with confidence, you gotta change that part of your learning process. I hope you enjoyed this video. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye!